I did my job. The rest of these Republicans suck. They may suck, but you didn't do your job because those same Republicans you think suck may be voting for the president, not you, because they may not get to 270. You got to vote down ballot. Pelosi knows there could be some failure to get to 270. 268 was 269, 269, which, ladies and gentlemen, is a possibility. They're preparing for it. Have you heard anything from your reps about this? Because we should be too. How do I know this? Check out this Fox News article. I want you to read this. It's in the show notes today. An important read about Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi urges colleagues to prepare for 2020 presidential election reaching Congress, meaning there is no one who reaches the 270 presidential elector threshold. Say it's 269, 269, it's a tie. The election then goes to the House of Representatives, which with each state casting one vote, majority wins. So you need 26 states to cast their votes. Now, you have to understand this process here because it's important. Comprehension of the battlefield ahead is important to be able to handle abnormalities that happen. Very important. The states, if it is kicked to the House of Representatives because neither candidate reaches 270, just again, play with this scenario. It's a tie for now, 269, 269, which isn't that unlikely. Unlikely, but not totally out of left field. It's happened before where a presidential hasn't happened in, 100 plus years. But it has happened where the House of Representatives, the U.S. Congress, has picked a president. Each state's delegation gets one vote. That's it. It's not each it's not each congressman in each state. So Florida, where I live, has a delegation of 27 congressional representatives. The majority of those congressional representatives, just by slightly, but it doesn't matter, the majority of them are Republicans. Assuming, Joe, tell me if this makes sense, assuming all of the Republicans cast their chit for the Republican, Donald Trump, and the Democrats cast their chit for remember, each state gets one vote, but obviously the representatives are the ones who are going to decide it. The Democrats cast their chit, say, for the Democrats, Joe Biden. The Republicans would then outnumber the Democrats. Florida would cast its one state vote in the House of Representatives for Donald Trump because the Republicans, if they all, which we assume they would, vote for the Republican, they would win.
Yeah.
You need 26 states, right? So here's where it gets interesting. And this is where Pelosi's all wired in. 26 states right now, even though you might say, well, Dan, this sounds like real trouble for us. Follow me here, because Democrats are the majority in the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, is she not? So how is it that 26 state delegations, a majority, have a majority Republican if the Democrats are, in fact, in the majority in the House of Representatives? It's very easy to explain. You have states like California and New York where the delegations are overwhelmingly 85, 90% Democrat, and they have rather large delegations. California was 51 or 53 reps or something like that. New York, which is the fourth biggest state in the union, is overwhelmingly Democrat. I don't know what they have, 25 or 27 or so. Meanwhile, in Republican-leaning states, like Florida, which are just leaning Republican, the states are just barely Republican by one or two members. So do you see how the Democrats can rack up the numbers, but the numbers are really stuck in Illinois, New York, and Chicago? So the rest of the states, which are more balanced and kind of swingy, still have enough Republican reps where their delegation can tilt to Republican side. I hope I didn't confuse anybody there.
No.
Okay, because it is, but this is a critical thing because whoever, I heard a great line. Charlie Hurt, who's a fantastic commentator on Fox, works with me over there where he's a contributor as well. Charlie Hurt said, we haven't taken the Constitution out for a test run in a long time. Let's hit the gas, Joe. See how this thing goes. Wow, the engine works. Haven't started up. Like, we haven't really tested these constitutional mechanisms out in a while. What if there is a dispute in the state? Is that December 14th deadline going to hold for the electors? How's this going to work? Are the courts going to get involved? I'll get to in a minute what happens, hopefully by the end of the show, what happens if, God forbid, a candidate doesn't make it to the election. I don't want to talk about this. It's macabre, dark stuff, but I'm not going to leave you unprepared. What happens if the case goes to the House of Representatives? I don't know. We haven't done it in over 100 years. Well, now you know. Each state gets one. If your state is dominated by Republicans or just majority Republicans, they're probably going to vote for the Republican. And most states are, because the Democrats are I'm sorry, I rarely put my phone on, but obviously I'm waiting for a call about, kind of this little thing. So if you hear my phone ringing, forgive me. I just hit it on silent there. Wait, it's kind of an important call, right? So but we have the majority of delegations. Now, you have that part down. Democrats are the majority in the House, but we have the majority of the states when it comes to majorities. Yep. Here's where this gets really funky and where Pelosi's onto something you need to be onto too. I know a lot of people, because I've spoken to a few. I shouldn't say a lot. I don't want to be dramatic. Precision matters, right? And I hate hyperbole. But when I used to work out in the gym, especially during midterms, I work out of my house now. I would talk to people and they'd be like, midterms. I don't like any of these guys. I just want to vote for Trump. I didn't hear that just one time. I heard it a lot, often enough where it troubled me. And I said to people often, listen, I'm with you. What's the golden rule of the Dan Bongino show? Joe and I have said it only 1,000 times, right? That the Republicans are probably not the answer to all of your problems, but the Democrats are most definitely the cause of pretty much all your problems. So I'm not giving you a Pollyannish, vote Republican, all your problems will be solved. They won't. I'm just telling you, if you want your problems to get worse, and then you want new problems on top of the problems you already have, definitely vote Democrat. They're 100% your guys. They'll hike your taxes. They'll take away your health care, late-term abortion. You'll have street chaos, defunding the police. That's all their wheelhouse. So if you like that, they will make your problems worse. So getting back to this, I've told people often in midterms, you got to go out and vote Republican, even if your guy pretty much sucks. Sorry, the other guy sucks even worse. What does that have to do with this? Ladies and gentlemen, the House of Representatives swears in before the vote in the House for the presidency if this gets kicked to the House of Representatives because nobody got to 270. So what does that mean? Well, it means that even though we dominate the state delegations now, we don't dominate, we're slightly ahead. I don't want to be dramatic. 26 delegations lean Republican, just slightly ahead, but enough to win the presidency. That might not matter after the election if you don't vote down ballot. Why do you think Pelosi's doing? Let's go back to the Fox News piece. We have a screenshot from that. I forget. I was talking so long. I love this piece. I'm sorry. I didn't even get to the screenshot. According to the 12th Amendment, congressional delegations decide the next president, again, in the unlikely event that neither candidate wins a majority in the Electoral College, 270. Going into the election, Trump has the upper hand as his party controls more state delegations, 26 versus the Democrats, 22. Even though Democrats outnumber Republicans in total representatives. All right, we addressed that. But here's part two. But because Congress doesn't declare election results until after new members are sworn in, November's results could theoretically allow Democrats to win enough state delegations prior to Congress certifying the election results on January 6th. You better go vote. Not just vote for the president, Donald Trump, if you're a Republican, but you better vote down ballot too. Folks, share this segment, please. Drew, can you cut this segment? It's funny how I talk to producer Drew like he's not even here. He cuts the show after. Drew, can you cut this segment? We'll put it on Rumble as a separate segment. Rumble.com/Bongino. Please share this. Please vote down ballot too. Vote it. We got to, Joe, we got to do it. You got to vote.
Yes.
Don't just go in
Agreed.
And say, here's my Trump pen. You're the guy who gave me this thing, by the way. Don't go in and vote, no matter how you do it, touch screen or whatever you may do. Say it's pen ballot, which that's how we do it down here in Florida. Say Donald Trump and say, I'm good. You're not good. You did not do your job. I'm very sorry. I don't mean to insult the audience, and I'm not trying to do that. And I know 99% of you had no intentions of just voting for the presidency and walking out. But if even 1% of you in a swing state said, I did my job, the rest of these Republicans suck, they may suck. But you didn't do your job because those same Republicans you think suck may be voting for the president, not you, because they may not get to 270. You got to vote down ballot. Please, please, with humility and the greatest of respect, a line I use often because I mean it. You have got to vote down ballot. Do not forget. Do not say, that's quick. I'm running out of time. Do not make sure you vote down ballot. There's this thing in an election called drop-off. Drop-off means you get, say, I don't know, 100% of people who show up vote for the presidency. Then 90% vote for the second race, which is typically the Senate or whatever race is a priority in that state. Then it's Congress. Then you have locals and then city council people. Go all the way down. Ding, 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 ding. Don't leave one race open. Please don't make that mistake, ladies and gentlemen. It's critical. Pelosi knows this. That's why the headline of that article, Pelosi's saying the quiet part out loud. She's lobbying behind the scenes, telling all of her Democrats, we need to raise money to get Democrats elected to the House of Representatives. Why? Because we may be picking the next president. Are Republicans doing the same thing? I hope so. Or are we sticking with we don't want to scare people like we're in trouble. Stop the insanity. We're in a really critical time. This is no time to play, candy ass with each other. Oh my God, don't scare them. You're going to frighten. We're all grown adults. Republicans and conservatives are really tough people. We're cops, we're military folks, truck drivers, carpenters, school teachers, everything. We deal with stuff all day. We can handle it. But someone should be telling people and going on the networks and everything, someone from the Republican side saying, hey guys, this is a possibility. It's a strong possibility. Therefore, if you don't vote for your Republican congressman because you don't like what he did, whatever, he showed up at your kid's birthday party and had a few too many tequilas, I don't care. This may be the guy picking the president.
You just heard Dan Bongino.